All right, folks, dead on time, 8 o'clock. All of our sessions are starting on the half hour, so we're going to try and stick to that schedule all this week, all right? And my name is Enda O'Reilly. I'm the school head for healthcare, sport and physical therapies. So just welcome along, everybody. Anybody who is just joining us, we have a Q&A section up on top of your screen. So anybody who wants to ask a question, fire ahead, fire it in there. Our moderators are very, very busy in the background. If you think of a question after the half-hour slot, you can email us at admin@cavaninstitute.ie and one of our course tutors will get back to you. You can also use our live chat feature on our website as well, which is a new feature, which is great. So lots of ways to communicate and chat with us. You can see a whole range of information on our website, www.cavaninstitute.ie, in terms of courses, progression and course fees. We also have a very, very active social media outlets in terms of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and so on. So you can see a whole range of student profiles on that. Okay, so in our next half-hour slot, we're going to hear from the sports tutors. So I believe all the sports tutors are outside doing the warm-up. It's great to have them back now and ready to go. We're going to hear from course tutor Bryan Bates first. So Bryan's in the sports and fitness area. Then we're going to hear from Mary McEnroe. And so Mary's going to be chatting with a current student, Amanda Black. So Amanda has just finished a two-year course, sports coaching and then sports development. And then after Amanda, we're going to hear from Philip McDonald on the sports therapy courses. And Philip is going to be joined by a former student, Ciara Harkin. So we're delighted to have Ciara and we're delighted to have Amanda. And we're going to try and squeeze in Orla at the end. It's the fairly active session. So Orla's going to give us just a brief overview of the career guidance at the Institute. Okay, and we have moderators, Rachel Rudden, and a whole other range of moderators are busy in the background. Okay, so let's pass it over fairly quickly to Bryan Bates.
Thank you very much, Enda. Just after getting inside there, so just after doing a little bit of exercise. So Enda, yeah, going to go through the sports and fitness courses in Cavan Institute. So the three courses that I'm going to look at are sports coaching and leisure management year 1, sports development with personal training year 2, and I'll also look at the pre-university sports science course. So I'm going to kind of amalgamate the first two. Sports coaching and leisure management year 1 and the sports development personal training year 2 is a year-on-year course. So you do year 1 and we encourage students to do 2 years with Cavan Institute. For a number of different reasons, just to kind of give you a good ground and a good bedding on the courses, and we find the students who do the 2 years generally move into employment or higher education a little bit more smoothly. So both courses are dual certifications. What that means is on the National Framework of Qualification, you get your QQI level 5 in sports coaching and leisure management. That allows you to progress to higher education, and you also get the award running alongside that is the ITEC level 2 fitness instructor. So after year 1, you are a qualified fitness instructor. You can work in Ireland or anywhere internationally, and you also get your QQI level 5 award as well. If you do go on to year 2, which again we encourage students to move on to year 2, you get your level 6 qualification in sport, recreation and exercise, again to allow you to move through the National Framework of Qualification. So if you want to go to any of the institutes of technology or the universities with that sports kind of area, you can use this qualification, and alongside that you also get your ITEC level 3 diploma in personal training, and you also get your level 2 certificate in instructing and strength and conditioning. So after 2 years you're work ready, you can move into employment as a personal trainer, as a fitness instructor, or you can move through the higher education system. Okay, so 2 really condensed courses with lots of awards in behind them. So you do year on year, one year per course. The added awards that you can get with those courses in year 1, you do your PDP1 for soccer coaching, so anything to do with the FAI, and in year 2 you can get your PDP2. So again, if you want to coach soccer and move up through that development plan, you get your PDP1 and PDP2. You also get your GA Foundation Award, and you get your Award 1 in use for your GA as well. So again, part of that is also doing your GA Safeguarding 1, so with your Code of Ethics. It's really important if you're thinking of coaching with kids or adults, it doesn't matter, you still have to do your guard of vetting. Another word that you will receive is the PHECC, the First Aid Responder course on basic life support. So lots of modules and lots of awards added into the overall award. So lots of stuff to have with you at the end of the 2 courses. The course themselves are quite broad, and we don't specify to go in one particular area. We like to leave it nice and wide. And the course is very practical. So you'd be up in the sports hall doing your coaching, or out in the fields doing your coaching for GA and soccer. You'll be in the gym doing your practical sessions for fitness instruction or gym instruction. So putting plans together, if you want to work with teams, you want to work with clients in the gym, you get a lot of information on that. In behind that is your anatomy, physiology, and nutrition. So a really wide variety of subjects that you have an opportunity to do. It gives you the opportunity to move down the different streams that you might wish to go. So you want to go the coaching route or the fitness instruction route, maybe the health promotion route. You might like the idea of maybe working physical activities. PE teaching could be an option for you, strength and conditioning, outdoor activities. So it really leaves a wide variety of subjects or areas that you can progress to in the future. Year 2 is just probably a development on each one. And again, students that do Year 2 just tend to be a little bit more prepared if they do want to go on to further education or higher education, and they are work ready. They can move into employment straight away. Each course, you do 2 weeks work placement. So in the sports setting, we encourage students to go into a workplace where they feel comfortable, where they might like to work in the future. So say a gym, leisure centre, hotels, that kind of area. Or if you want to maybe go into PE teaching, we encourage them to go to schools, or the coaching route, maybe to go to soccer or GA, go out to the games promotion officers in the local area and get a flavour for what that's like in that area. Lots of our students who go on work placement tend to get a part-time job out of their work placement. So what they will do, they use that part-time job maybe to fund them through their next couple of years in college. So it really is a good opportunity to gain a knowledge of that particular area. Students have also gone on Erasmus placements over in the UK, and we're looking at other places in Europe over the next year or two. Progression opportunities, we always encourage students to come back to Cavan Institute Year 2, so do the sports development, personal training. Students have also gone on to many courses in the Institutes of Technology and the universities in Ireland. So for example, maybe do sports and management coaching, maybe in TVD. We have a student who was with us a number of years ago. He's in his final year doing a degree. He's been offered his master's placement. So again, really good progression the whole way through. We've sent students to do health and physical activities in DKIT. We've sent students to do sports studies and physical education in UCC. I'll just go back over that now in a few moments. We've also sent students to Carlow, to Letterkenny, all the different colleges and universities in Ireland. We also have links with UK colleges, the likes of University of Sunderland and say John Moores in Liverpool. But again, you apply through the UCAS application process, which comes out in about October time if you're wishing to go over to the UK to do your studies. Employment opportunities. Students have gained employment directly from the course in the sports partnerships. So we had a student a number of years ago, Ciara Bohan, who we had a conversation with on a YouTube chat that's hopefully going to go into the question and answer section. If you click in there, you hear a couple of our students. But Ciara came to Cavan Institute, she applied to Leitrim Sports Partnership, and she's also a personal trainer. So again, direct employment from the course itself. We have many personal trainers and gym instructors dotted around the locality within Cavan and surrounding areas. We have students who are working in Cavan Complex, in the Radisson, in Cavan Crystal, who have came through Cavan Institute and done their gym instruction and their swimming course. We have students who are on to be Gaels promotion officers. So in Cavan County Board, a lot of the lads, so Dan, Jack, Chris and Evan, who are currently working in Cavan County Board, came through Cavan Institute for a year or two, and then they went on maybe to Athlone or on to Carlow to do their full degree, and now they're back working in Cavan, giving a little bit back to the county itself. Again, other opportunities working in gyms, hotels, leisure centres, swimming complexes are all available. Earlier in the year, we had a chat with a number of students, as I mentioned previously. So if you check out our YouTube channel, we had a chat with 4 different students. One of those students was Michael Flood. Michael Flood is now a PE teacher. Michael came to us about 7 or 8 years ago to do year 1. He wasn't really sure what he wanted to do, but he liked the idea of doing sports. So he got us to year 1. He moved on to year 2. He identified a course in Cork to do PE teaching, and he hasn't looked back since. He is now a PE teacher in Temple Michael in Longford, and he's not unique. We have lots of students who have gone that particular route. We have Ryan and Sharon and Eric are all working currently as PE teachers. We have a number of students who are down in Cork at the moment. Alan and Kieran and Melanie and Adam are all working their way through year 2 and year 3 of PE teaching. Now we have a number of prospective students who are finished their year with us now, are looking to go the same route. I mentioned Ciara. Ciara's on that conversation as well. Ciara's working for Leitrim Sports Partnership, and she's also a personal trainer with Assorted Fitness. Anya is on that conversation too. Anya went to DKIT to do health and physical activities. Anya used last year really well. She went and got her swimming instructor. She'd done a work placement in the Sleeve Russell Hotel, and she's currently employed as a part-time employee working her way through college, hopefully when restrictions lift in the next few weeks. Sean is another example. Sean Doyle came to us last year as a mature student. He had always wanted to go down to IT Carlow to do sports management and soccer coaching. He just didn't get there at the very start. He worked his way around different areas, came to Cavan Institute, he'd done his portfolio, he'd done his interview, to very, very impress him. He's now down there this year studying, he's finishing off his exams this year, and he's currently working with expert youth ladies in the background, doing stats and so on. Okay, so again, that conversation is there if you wish to listen to it again, and loads of examples of students who have gone through that particular route. Finally, I'm just going to go through the pre-university sports science course. This is slightly different than sports coaching. Again, it's dual certified, so you do your QQI award, where you go down the national framework of qualification to go towards progression. Progression, I suppose, is the key one on this one. Maybe it's an amalgamation of sports and science. You will get your certificate in fitness instructing, so you will be a fitness instructor at the end of the year. But what you're doing really on this course, you're doing a lot of science subjects to kind of give you a flavour of that science background. So you do your mathematics, your physics, your chemistry, anatomy, physiology, along with a sprinkling in sports subjects to kind of mash the two together. So you're looking at sport and science and seeing if you like that particular area. Work experience is another part of that course. You do your 10 days or 2 weeks. And again, we encourage students to go down an area that they might like to work in the future. So a number of students went, say, into a hospital setting. We had a student who was on that particular course who went on to do radiography over the last number of years. Erasmus opportunities are there as well to go abroad to do your 2 weeks placement if the opportunity arises. Progression opportunities, there's 3 streams I'd say you could go down in this direction. You can go down the science route, you can go down the sports route, you can go down both routes together. So you can go completely down the science route, you can go to Cavan Institute year 2 to do sports development, personal training, or you can go mismatch the two of them together. So for example, you could go to Carlow IT or DCU or GMIT to do sports science. So for example, a student who was with us a number of years ago, Ciara Finnegan, who's now with Cavan Ladies, Camogie and football, and a great win at the weekend as well. Keep it going, girls. She is now doing the sports science and health course in DCU. Another student who was with us last year, Rory Curran, is now down in GMIT doing public health and nutrition. So just loads of opportunities to progress in the future, and we also have those links with the UK as well, say with University of Sunderland to do sport and exercise science. Incidentally, anybody on that course, all graduated, all got their round 1 offers in round 0. So the first choice offer, using their UCAS or using their QQI results, they progressed on to university and got their first choice. Okay, that's enough for me. I'm going to pass you on now to Mary McMurrow. Mary is going to speak to Amanda Black, who was a student with us over the last number of years. She is currently on the sports development and personal training course. And Mary, I'll hand you over to Amanda, yourself and Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for all that information. Hello, Amanda, how are you?
Hello, Mary, how are you?
I'm good. Amanda, you completed the 2-year with us here in Cavan doing the sports development and personal training course. What practical skills, Amanda, did you get from completing the course in Cavan?
We have gained lots of practical skills, Mary, that will be useful as a sports coach, a personal trainer and a fitness instructor. Firstly, we had the opportunity to study and practice soccer and GAA coaching. We were able to gain lots of experience through peer coaching. This included aspects such as coaching various skills and techniques, soccer coaching drills and GAA coaching drills, tactics, game-based scenarios, coaching small-sided and full-sided games. Other practical skills we gained was included instructing and creating fitness and exercise programs. This included exercise and fitness programs, not just for the general population, but also for individuals of various age groups and people with contraindications such as low and high blood pressure, arthritis, asthma and diabetes. We also learned how to devise individualised programs for individuals and teams. So for example, a sports teams may request a program, maybe pre-season program, to increase cardio and muscle endurance, and maybe include exercises to minimise risk of injury during the season. And on successful completion of the course, we can do that. We also studied postural deviations and imbalances and how in certain circumstances these can be improved or corrected with various exercises. We studied nutrition and sports nutrition, so as a result of that we can now create individualised diet plans and programs for people to enhance their overall health, but also for athletes and sports people to enhance their performance. We studied anatomy and physiology, which again is very practical and very essential in this field of study, and lots of other subjects such as business admin and sports industry practice, which would be very beneficial.
Thanks, Amanda. That's very informative. You've gained your iTech gym instruction and personal training qualification. So where does that allow you to gain employment now, Amanda?
That will allow us to gain employment in gyms, in sports complexes. We can also set up as a sole trader ourselves and provide fitness classes, personal training, and basically for anyone of any age and ability, which is fantastic because, as we know, sports and exercise bring so many health benefits physically and mentally. We can also be employed or volunteer as a sports coach in GAA and soccer also.
That's great. That's great, Amanda. Amanda, what advice would you give to a student maybe that's thinking of doing sports coaching or some sort of a sports course? You know, is there any advice that you could give them, Amanda, that might be helpful for them?
Yes. I was looking into, before I started Cavan Institute, I was looking into the courses. I was apprehensive as a mature student coming back. So I contacted Mr. Enda O'Reilly there, who was very, very helpful and informative. I would say not to overthink it. Let you be a student who's just completed the Leaving Cert and unsure what you want to do. Maybe you want to gain access to a course in higher education, or maybe you're just a mature student like myself who wants to change your career path. I would highly recommend Cavan Institute. The individual attention you receive and all the support is second to none. It's fantastic, and it was one of the best choices I have ever made. So I would recommend anybody to go on all the social media platforms, check out Cavan Institute and contact some of the staff if they have any questions also.
That's brilliant, Amanda. Thank you very much for all of that. We're now going to hand over, we're going to chat to Philip McDonald from Sports Therapy.
Okay, thanks Mary, Bryan and Amanda for that information in relation to the sports coaching, strength and conditioning, etc. I'm going to now talk about, I suppose, the other end of the scale is when people do take part in sport, they do become injured, and then that's when we're called on the scene to try and help rehabilitate them. Basically, I'm going to talk about two courses: the Sports Therapy and Rehabilitation Studies Year 1, and then the Sports Therapy and Rehabilitation Studies Year 2. Year 2 is a natural progression from Year 1, and also the good thing about it is after the 2 years you also get a QQI award in physiotherapy assistant. That means that once you do the 2 years and get qualified, you will be able to work in Irish hospitals, working alongside chartered physiotherapists as physiotherapy assistants. And some people they just want to do that. They don't want to do degrees and so on and so on. So I'm going to talk about the first year course anyway. The first year, it's a lot of emphasis on anatomy and physiology. We need to know what is under the skin when we're doing massage, how to strap ankles, so on and so on. So there's a big emphasis on anatomy and physiology. So it is quite heavy in relation to the study. But as I say, you have to get the ground basis first in Year 1 and then progress on to Year 2. What you get out of Year 1 then is you get an iTech Level 3 Diploma in Sports Therapy and Massage, which qualifies you to work in over 40 countries all over the world. You won't have to do an entrance exam if you go to that country. If you have this qualification, you will just it's an application process and you can practice in that country. You also get an ITAC Level 2 certificate in fitness instruction. So you learn a little bit, well, a fair good bit as well, not as much as the sports coaching department, but you do get a good emphasis or a good grounding for physical training as well. You also do a CFR course that if you are at a match or working with a team or in your own clinic or working as a physio assistant in a hospital and someone takes a heart attack or someone gets in trouble, that you can carry out first aid training as a cardiac first responder. The entry requirements then is Leaving Cert applied or another QQI relevant level 4 award. Also, we look at mature applicants, which is over the age of 23. Each applicant will make their application and then we treat them all on an individual basis. You at the end of it then you get your QQI level 5 community and health services. After year 1 then it's a natural progression into year 2. There is entry requirements. You must pass year 1 to get into year 2. You just don't automatically get into it, and there is other criteria as well. You'll have to have so many hours and so on. In year 1 then you also do your you have to work with teams to build up your hours and to get the experience. You also do a 2-week work placement, which means that you go out and you pick a placement. Now that could be in a private hospital, it could be in a private clinic, it could be working with a development team, it could be, there's so many different options. But basically it's to get in there, see how things work, get a bit of practice with your hands as well, and it'll stand to you then in year 2. And that's basically year 1. As I said then, year 2, it's a stepping stone from year 1, or you're moving on from year 1. Again, it's quite intensive. There's an awful lot more emphasis on anatomy and physiology and so on. But the good thing about it is you get a QQI level 6 certificate in sport, recreation and exercise. So you will be able to do a certain amount on exercise and training. In the past also the students have completed a strength and conditioning course as well. You're also qualified then to use the sports therapy equipment, the ultrasound, the infrared, the mechanical massage and so many other machines as well. You also then are qualified to strap and tape ankles, knees, shoulders and so on, and you have your massage one as well. In year 2 then you must go out on a work placement as well. Again, we encourage students to go out and work with teams at the weekends, in the evenings and so on, get into clinics, private clinics, so on and so on. And again, it's quite intensive, but it can be very worthwhile as well and very rewarding, that when you treat somebody and then, in a couple of weeks' time, then they're back fully fit and so on and so on. We do have, in the past, we have an on-site clinic on a Tuesday where patients would come in with injuries, twisted ankles, knees, pulled hamstrings from the weekend, etc., and the students do get a chance to actually do some hands-on work. It's okay reading it in a book, but to actually put it in practice, it's great. Further study then is not the big one, but you can finish after year 2, set up your own clinic, and you can work with what you're qualified to do. There is certain limitations. If you want, then you can go on and complete a degree in physiotherapy. In the past, some students have gone on, or some graduates have gone on and done radiography, occupational therapy, and that's just a few. Again, you just applied through UCAS, which is the UK application system, and then the CAO in Ireland as well. Over 23, then you can apply to Trinity, UCD, and all the universities that does physiotherapy as a mature applicant, and it's on it's interview based. Also, then you can, in the past, some of our students have gone to the UK to do physiotherapy. We have so many students in Teesside, Manchester. We have a few students actually this year, 2 students this year going to London, South Bank in London, which is the first for us to get us set up and a link with those and other places as well. And another new venture, this is our second year now, is we have a student, Juliet, is going to Holland to study physiotherapy in Holland, which is it's not a new adventure, but it's a different country, still within the EU as well. So there are some great opportunities there. I suppose the strengths of our course, or the children in our course, is they're all coming from the industry. So they've all practiced, they have their own clinics, they've worked with athletes, they've worked in nursing homes, they've worked at different levels with different types of patients, young and old, and they're bringing that into the college, and they're passing that on to the students. And it's all evidence-based as well. It's not just from, you know, people's opinions, it's their experiences and so on. I mentioned earlier that students want to go on and do other different disciplines. In the past, we've had Gary, a young lad from Cavan. He wanted to do radiography, and he had to go kind of a back door. He'd done 2 years with us, went to the UK, done his radiography degree, and he's now back as a radiographer in Cavan General. So it's great to see someone coming back to Cavan from Cavan after going through the whole study era. We've another guy similarly named Gary as well. He came to us, he'd done his 2 years, and he went and done his a degree in the UK, and then he wanted to change, I suppose, his path in life, and he decided he wanted to do occupational therapy. So he applied to Limerick and to do a master's degree in occupational therapy, and he was the first male student in Limerick in 7 years to be doing an MSc in occupational therapy. Another success story from us is David from West Cavan. David came and he done his 2 years with us, and he went to the UK and he done sports rehab, and then he done physiotherapy, and he is now the lead physio with Celtic. And in talking to David, he has some great stories about his experiences with Celtic, especially you know, the old firm derby, they call it, Celtic versus Rangers, the atmosphere and the build-up and so on and so on. In the past, our students have been very lucky as well to work with the international rules. When Australia came over here, the Australians came over here, in 2013, and then the Irish team went over in 2014. So all our students, every student on our course, got a chance to work on all the different intercounty GAA players. It was every weekend over 3 months, and you know, the experience of those students, when I do meet them now, that, you know, they said it's invaluable working with intercounty players. We also help out at cycling events, charity events. Our students have worked with the Cavan senior football team and the Monaghan senior football team. We don't mind passing on our expertise to the Monaghan lads, but it's great that when Cavan can beat them in the football. So that's just a flavour of the courses for us. We do have a website there, and we do have we have very exciting 5-minute chats with past students on where they have gone, what their experience is, and so on and so on. So there will be, if you log on there, have a look, and you will see that. So one of our success stories now is a girl that came to Cavan in 2014, Ciara Harkin, and Ciara graduated from Cavan. She went on to the UK, done her degree, and is now back working in Cavan. So I'll just say hello to Ciara.
Hi, Philip.
Good to talk to you, Ciara.
Good. How are you keeping?
Not too bad, not too bad. I've just got a few questions, Ciara, just to give anyone that's listening in there a flavour of, rather than listening to the tutors, you know, from a past student's perspective. So just the first question is then, how did your experience at Cavan Institute prepare you for further study?
Oh, so only for Cavan Institute, I went on, I studied in Teesside. So I applied through Teesside for the UCAS through my Cavan results and stuff. So there was no way I was going to be getting a true leaving cert. So I applied through UCAS, got through to Teesside based on my results that I got in Cavan. And then that was really it. Like, I was only 16 doing my leaving cert, so there was no way I would have been able to go on and kind of study in a university straight away. I wouldn't have met deadlines. I wouldn't know what to do. So yeah, really Cavan Institute set me up, even assignment wise, meeting deadlines, and then the hands-on treatment was just unbelievable. Like in my physio degree, you don't do much hands-on stuff. You don't do any taping or anything. So only for Cavan, I wouldn't really have any hands-on stuff or any taping.
Okay, Ciara, thanks for that. And once you qualified then, once you left Teesside, where did you progress to? So
I graduated from Teesside in 2017 and I worked in the NHS for 2 years. So I worked over in a hospital quite close to Teesside, and I done my rotations there. So I worked in outpatients, I worked in intensive care, and I worked on the medical wards. And then I came back here and I'm now working in a private practice we have a clinic in Cavan and a clinic in Navan, so I'm working between both. Okay, Ciara, I also believe that you're doing some work in the evenings locally here in Cavan. Yeah, so I'm actually working with Cavan hurlers at the minute, so they're keeping me well on my toes. So I am with them as the physio for them, so training 3 evenings a week and then a match at the weekends. So it's unbelievable. It's great. Look, I've worked with clubs and stuff, but it's completely different when you go into a county setup. Like it's fantastic. So I'm delighted to have the opportunity to work with them. Okay, and just the last question then, Ciara, I suppose, would you have any advice to give to someone maybe that's out there listening, maybe not sure on where they want to go or what they want to do, maybe hoping to do physiotherapy and may not get the required high points? What advice would you give them if they're listening? Yeah, so there's always a way into everything. I was a bit like that. I didn't know if I wanted to do physio. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was young, and I just wasn't ready for that university life. So definitely, like Cavan sets you up. You get in like that, like Philip was saying earlier. You know, after first year, if it's not for you, like you still have your qualifications from it. And even like I know people that studied in Cavan Institute, but they didn't go on to further, but they're still doing their pitch side first aid, and they're working in clinics, they're working as gym instructors, everything like that. So there's a huge benefit with Cavan. Like you come out with loads and loads of qualifications. Like it's unbelievable. That's great, Ciara. It's great to talk to you, and it's great to hear a past graduate's experience. Thanks very much for that, for taking your time out to come in. You're very welcome. I will now hand back to Enda O'Reilly.
Thanks a million, folks. Thanks, Ciara, for taking the time to join us. Thanks, Philip. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Bryan, and thanks, Mary. Folks, we're trying to just stick to a tight enough schedule this evening, but it's great to hear from the 2 students, which is we'll hear from Orla Maguire, our career guidance, at the end of the next session, folks. All right. Any questions, keep them coming in on our Q&A. Our moderators are still there busy answering them. Email admin@cavaninstitute.ie, and a course tutor will come back to you as well. And again, use our live chat. Okay, so that's the